remix for your eardrums. So might this one now. The free MCs that are still to come. Yeah.
We're here to tell the story of how we tell family stories.
The encouragement was to tell our story to my son so that he can continue to share those stories. And this is where we all started from, Grey Lynn and Ponsonby. You know, having mum and dad come from Samoa to here and to live in inner city Auckland, to me, it's a big buzz because, you know, I guess you can never see that again, of filling this inner city of Polynesians again. And it was such a beautiful time to live in Ponsonby and Grey Lynn. The homes that you could walk in and out of and have meals, or parents would be okay where you were, and kids were playing on the streets, and yeah, it was an amazing time to be living in this neighbourhood. And taking the opportunities is the way that our parents have seen it. Okay, Seth, one of the things about Ponsonby and Grey Lynn for us is our music. You know, and as Pacific people, we love our music. You know, the cool thing about growing up, you know, during this time, around the 70s, there was a movement called the 12 Tribes of Israel. Now, they used to hang out at Williamson Ave and Crummer Road. And they used to have their sessions on a Friday night where people could come, listen to their music, and just have a meal together. Now, for the reggae music, the history there, son, is that the likes of a band called Herbs and a few other artists, this was the place. This is where they came from.
Look around you, tell me what you see. City life.
You know, our music was going around. 5 Star, Yandel Sisters, just to name a few of the classics.
Sugar in the morning, sugar in the evening, sugar at supper time. Be my little sugar and love me all the time.
Williamson Ave is a connection and something, you know, famous for us, because that was where our first home was. Back then, Iosefa down at Grey Lynn Park, we used to have our games from all the churches, and this is, you know, from PIC to the Epakasa to the Catholic. So it was the who's who that was coming down to compete.
I was born in the city, I was raised in the street, and religion in my system.
The Polynesian Panthers were like really cool. They talked about advancement, education, anti-racism, and awareness of Pacific issues, and we're doing this here. And what was really neat was we lived across the road from the hub. So it was really neat, Sofi, to be able to, everyone's going to the homework group, so we'd all jump out of the house, run across, and then there was our heroes, the Polynesian Panthers, Sofi.
Well, I grew up in Ponsonby. They take the glue pot, now they're coming for me.
When people talk about Grey Lynn and Ponsonby, well, this is the boundary.
Yeah.
You know,
the
Ponsonby up to Richmond Road is the boundary of Grey Lynn. Grey Lynn's on that side,
yeah,
and Ponsonby's on that side.
that side.
So, you know, a lot of people, you say, oh yeah, I live in Ponsonby, but they really live in Grey Lynn. But for us, you know, that was our neighbourhood. We knew where we lived.
Come on, city boys, country girls, throwing down.
Thanks to Oscar Kitely, Sioni's wedding, and so Grey Lynn on this side, this is where we shot a lot of the scenes. Oscar had it very clear in his mind that it would be Grey Lynn, and so a lot of our shots from Grey Lynn is all down that way. Williamson Ave, Crummer Road, they were two significant roads in Sioni's wedding. Oscar got it right about the neighborhood, the Pacific stories. There's more stories to come out of here. We all thought that the rest of New Zealand was like this little patch of Ponsonby and Grey Lynn, where people got on, diversity was celebrated. Pākehā people were part of our family, and you know, like I said, we had our Chinese, our Indian, we had our Yugoslavians, Catholics.
You're also talking about the first Muslim mosque was built in Ponsonby and was given by the Catholics. You know, so you know that's how diverse this community was back then.
In the 80s, I was honoured to be made King Cobra's gang worker. In those days, detached youth worker was the formal word. And so I worked with the King Cobras, KCP, Ponsonby, and one of the gathering places is down here at the Ponsonby Community Centre. And the reason why we're at this church is because over here on that wall over there, we used to show kung fu films. You'd have all the people coming from the different streets of their families, and we'd show it late at night. And that was at a time when we did not look down on gang members. We did not look down on who the people were. They were in the community, therefore, of course you're invited. And then the other thing with these activities were they would at least have 3 generations, intergenerational. So you'd have the uncles, the aunties, nana, coming in, sitting down, enjoying, and everyone being a community. The movement of inner city Pacific population to south, the whole gentrification of inner city Auckland for the middle class Pākehā, and then moving our people out under the false pretense that they'll be closer to their work, that they will have a vehicle and own a house. Yet what they don't fully tell our people is that in the next 5 years, all the industry in South Auckland is going to be defunct, gone. And so the 80s become a rather turbulent time where the economy goes down and Pacific people are now being scapegoated.
Yeah, I guess you could tell, you could sense that something was changing, and you either, you know, stood your ground or you followed the rest and moved out. But I guess for us, for our family, we chose to stay in the neighborhood and watch it slowly change, you know. But it was about, if we get moved, we're going to move with our stories, with our journeys, and plant it. Again, that's part of the reason why we tell the stories, is to remind them who they are, where they've come from, where their grandparents come from, and giving them those experiences.
We tell stories. We tell stories of our families, and we tell stories to affirm, to celebrate, and to empower our people. And it's a very powerful way of empowering, educating. And so today we've been really privileged to come and share as the Pacific historians, oral historians, performers about the celebration of who we are.
We told us, we'll laugh about our moms, wooden spoons hitting us, cocoa brown boys. Funny, just to recollect